From the studios of Farm Journal Broadcast, this is AgDay.
A matter of balance.
Fear of falling actually leads folks to decrease their activities.
How a program is helping seniors keep moving with confidence. From very little rain to too much too soon.
It was the wettest May or the wettest month on record.
How it's helping bust the drought conditions in portions of Texas. As drought continues to improve across the country, a new threat looms. See how much of the nation's corn crop is already facing dryness right now on AgDay. Good morning, I'm Clinton Griffiths. There's good news and bad news when it comes to drought here in the U.S. First, the good news. A percentage of the country in drought is continuing to dip. Taking a look at the latest drought monitor, now just under 19% of the contiguous U.S. is in drought. That's down a fraction from last week, but way down from September of last year, when more than 50% of the U.S. was in drought. But issues may be on the horizon. USDA reporting now 34% of corn production is within an area experiencing drought. You can see that area shaded in red. For soybeans, as you can see, it's 28%. While there are still big issues when it comes to drought for winter wheat, with 46% of that crop battling drought. East of the Mississippi, short-term dryness has started to expand.
We're still a few weeks away from crop reproduction when we really start to be concerned about temperatures and moisture availability as the crops head into and through reproduction and then later into the grain fill and pod filling stages of development for corn and soybeans respectively.
On top of that, a recent stretch of hot weather in the Midwest is contributing to topsoil moisture loss. But there's been major improvement when it comes to drought for areas of Texas and the plains. The Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma, and Kansas all battling back from dryness. Some parts of Texas already marking the wettest May on record. That's prompting planting delays.
Some areas in the High Plains region from southwestern Nebraska to Texas picked up more than 10 inches of rain. A few locations, it was the wettest May or the wettest month on record. So here we go from these D3s and D4s, extreme to exceptional drought, to flash flooding and planting delays, all in a period of 3 to 4 weeks. Truly remarkable change.
And the heat is on from the northeast to the Great Lakes. Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht has more.
Yeah, temperatures are going to be surging back above average, a trend that we've had the last couple of days. I want to start off with the morning temperatures going into tomorrow. So for your weekend, starting off on Saturday, with temperatures in the 60s across a good portion of the United States. We hit the button, move this into the afternoon hours. Those 90s starting to show up, especially the mid 90s back where we also have some Gulf moisture. So this is going to be kind of on that humid late summer, mid to late summer type heat and humidity as we open up some of that Gulf moisture. 91 in Dallas, 91 in San Antonio, a little bit cooler where we're expecting some showers and thunderstorms. But once you get away from that rain-cooled air, temperatures push back up into the 80s and the 90s. Go ahead, check this out. This is central Iowa where we're seeing this picture. Roger is sending this one in. That is the setting sun and a beautiful snapshot to boot. Again, Roger sending this one in, capturing a hazy sunset there. Now we have a great way to end the day. Such a great day to end the day. I'll have more on your forecast coming up in just a bit.
Not the news the ag industry wants to see. USDA says it is lowering its forecast for U.S. ag exports this year. It now puts the export total at $181 billion. That's down from the previous estimate of $184.5 billion. It's also nearly 8% lower than last year when it hit a record of more than $196 billion. Now it says the cut is due to anticipated declines in corn and wheat exports along with beef shipments. Corn exports are expected to fall 25% below last year.
We've seen exports slow. We've seen some Chinese cancellations of corn and a lot of that on the back of what is a record second crop corn out of Brazil.
Now, USDA predicts that China will buy $34 billion worth of U.S. farm exports this year, a drop of almost $2.5 million from a year ago. Mexico is expected to be the second largest buyer at $28.5 billion, surpassing Canada for the first time. But on the ag trade front, the U.S. and Mexico continue to be at odds over Mexico's GMO corn law. Now more than 60 House Republicans have written a letter insisting U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai initiate a formal dispute against Mexico over its rule to prohibit certain types of GMO corn. AgDay's Michelle Rook is here with some new developments. Michelle.
Clinton, the effort is being led by Nebraska Congressman Adrian Smith, who is also chair of the House Trade Subcommittee. In a letter to Tai, they emphasized that Mexico's inability to abide by its agricultural commitments under USMCA must be addressed immediately. The Mexican government is still insisting on GMO restrictions on U.S. corn for food use, which the U.S. says is unacceptable because it's not science-based. But the impasse on the decree may be tough to solve, according to the former chief negotiator from Mexico on USMCA.
It is unlikely that this will get resolved, before the end, I think, of the administration in Mexico, which is October of 2024. However, what the Mexican government is trying to do is convince the United States that at least between now and the end of the Mexican administration, no restrictions will be placed on any imports of U.S. corn into Mexico.
However, that's not sufficient for the U.S. because it sets a dangerous precedent with one of its largest trading partners. However, Smith doesn't foresee the decree as being a threat.
I also do not think that for the next year and a half, until President López Obrador leaves office, that Mexico will actually impose restrictions. So I think the pressure can be kept up in the consultations between the U.S. and Mexico. There is a possibility that further changes to the decree could be made so that there's no longer any restriction on the use for the production of flour, for example. And, but I do not see any immediate risk of import restrictions being established in Mexico.
He says the political pressure for the GMO ban has come within the Mexican cabinet as some leaders of NGOs and activist groups are now in positions of power. Smith says they'll also be pursuing disparaging GMO labeling in the next Congress.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Well, grain markets bounced back on Thursday amid fresh weather concerns. Michelle Rook will be back once again to talk about that. Coming up in analysis. And later, staying fit on the farm. We're off to Tennessee, where a new program is helping seniors maintain their strength and balance as they age in the country. A perfect storm is brewing for the nation's elevators as the cost of storage continues to rise. CoBank just released a study looking at the issue. It says the cost of grain storage has risen significantly due to higher interest rates, high crop prices, along with increasing labor, insurance, transportation, and energy costs. You can see that on this chart with a 21% rise in corn, 42% increase in soybeans, and a 50% increase in wheat. The study says that's forcing grain elevators to lower bids in order to make the math work. Buyers were back for grains and most livestock on Thursday. Michelle Rook has more on the turnaround in markets now.
Grains were mostly higher on Thursday, as well as cattle at a new contract highs. Chip Nellinger, Blue Reef Agri-Marketing, is joining us. And let's talk about the grains first off. The recovery that we saw on Thursday, was it all about technical exhaustion, or was it more just putting weather premium back into that market?
Well, I think a little bit of both. The funds had really pressed these grain markets to the downside and building short positions up. And then you also kind of coincided that with a little bit of a pattern change here. It's very dry in the Eastern Corn Belt. Portions of the Western Corn Belt have received some rain. Overall, we need a better rainfall pattern and more regular, beneficial rain into mid to late June, or we're going to start cutting yields back. And so the market is sensing that. Crop conditions, the first crop condition report here on Monday showed that we're under the levels of a year ago, and we're going to continue to drop if we don't get better rain in the Eastern Corn Belt. So it's all about weather at the heart of it. The funds have made a lot of money being short the last couple of months, but if this weather pattern continues trending drier into mid to late June, and we don't see better rainfall, then there's more upside as the funds, will be forced to blow out of those short positions.
Yeah. Drought monitors seem to really confirm what we already knew, that there are some trouble areas. It's going to be hard to get to those record yields as a result. All right, cattle market. Let's talk about that. New contract highs for the sixth straight day in the nearby live cattle futures, but we had sharply higher cash trade to push it, didn't we?
We did. And getting a little bit, not quite blow off top, but we're sure getting it extended to the top side here. Can it keep going? Absolutely. Before today, you saw that, June futures were $12-ish below where the northern cash trade has been. So that's what we're getting into. It's different from 3 months ago where we saw the futures have a premium to where cash is. Now it's the opposite. Cash continues to move higher, boxes move higher, and that's driving us. But eventually the funds are going to have their fill of the long position that they've got. They continue to add to it. It's paying them. But like any market, they're eventually going to want to take their money off the table. And you have to really watch for these high price levels to start ratcheting demand back. So I'm still friendly in the short run. We've got some upside left. Maybe we can push this up into the low 180s, maybe 190. But I think we really have to be cautious, especially if we continue at this sharp of an angle to the upside.
Thanks so much for joining us, Chip Dellinger, Blue Reef Agri-Marketing. That's Markets Now.
Farming has changed. Markets are riskier than ever. For customized, focused commodity marketing, contact Chip Nellinger or Adam Dreyer at 309-550-7213.
Yeah, I want to jump right into that drought monitor, which was updated Thursday morning. You can see we continue to stay dry. Now, the panhandle of Oklahoma and into Texas, some areas received a substantial amount of rainfall the last couple of days, but still dry as we work onto the northern side of this ridge of high pressure that developed. That includes the dry, but also the heat as well. That includes parts of the Midwest. Now, as we go forward in that 6 to 10 day period, temperatures are expected to stay above average, but we'll get a little bit more wet weather back closer to the Mississippi, and where we were at or below average in terms of dryness, expecting a little bit more rain activity, more isolated showers in the week ahead. This is June 8th through the 14th that we're seeing, again, some of that green showing up across the United States. The bottom line, the pattern isn't as stuck or isn't as backed up as what it was this week or even last week. Things are starting to move a little bit better next week in regards to the jet stream. Now, for the next 24 hours through your Friday and into your Saturday, right where we need some of that rain, it's not a lot, but it is something that we're going to be getting some on and off showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. In fact, probably rumble of thunder into Oklahoma, Texas, and then back up here to the north as well. So going forward, expect that temperatures to be a little bit cooler than average on the East Coast, but that ridge really starts to develop back June 6th through June 10th. Also, note that this is where we're expecting it to be dry during this period as well. Minnesota into Iowa. As you get back up to the northwest, once again, one thing that continues to show up in the data long term is the potential for some near record high temperatures for an extended period of time into Montana, Idaho, and also into the northwest. So there's a look at the temperature outlook June 6th through June 10th. Let's head to Virginia. Sunny skies, high about 87 degrees, low of 57. Millington, Tennessee, mostly sunny, high of 88, low of 67. And Andrews, Texas, just north of Midland, Odessa, possibility of some thunderstorms, high 82.
A new study says flying pigs may not be environmentally friendly. Details next. And later, the benefits of protecting your strength and balance as you age. We'll tell you about a new program in Tennessee in the country. A new study claims certain biofuels being created to fuel planes in Europe may end up harming the environment. A Belgian environmental group called Transportation and Environment, focusing on the use of animal fat and vegetable oil to create sustainable aviation fuels. It says it would take 8,800 pigs to fuel a flight between Paris and New York. According to that study, this trend could triple the demand for animal fat in Europe by the year 2030. And to meet the demand, the world would need more animals. But it claims slaughtering them would only create more carbon emissions. Now, this report says alternatives for manufacturers like palm oil would also increase carbon emissions. The National Pork Producers recently said environmental studies show the U.S. pork sector is environmentally friendly, contributing less than 0.5% of greenhouse gas emissions in the U.S. Researchers at the University of California, Davis report lab-grown or cultivated meat's environmental impact is likely to be significantly higher than retail beef. The researchers conducted a life cycle assessment of the energy needed and greenhouse gases emitted in all stages of production and compared those with beef. It says based on current and near-term production methods, they concluded lab-grown meat will be worse for the environment and more expensive than conventional beef production. An Illinois community is rallying around one pork-producing family. This is what's left after a fire tore through Blue Near Farms in Forest, Illinois. It destroyed one of the farm's 5 barns. The good news, no one was hurt, and only 10 pigs were lost in the blaze. Firefighters and rescuers were able to rush 525 pigs to safety and stop the fire from spreading to other barns. Now, the family says neighbors and friends in the community came out to help too, including people with stock trailers to help move the animals. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Now, it's believed it caused more than $600,000 in damages. And in honor of World Pork Expo happening next week in Des Moines, Iowa, we'll be focusing on the pork industry for several days. Be sure to join us here on AgDay or online at porkbusiness.com for our annual Pork Week celebration. We'll meet the hard-working customs agents working to keep foreign disease at bay, plus an outlook for the industry as it navigates 2023 and the likely long-term impacts of Proposition 12. Be sure to join us for Pork Week. Up next, life is all about balance. It's also a key to long life on the farm. We'll look at some ideas to improve strength and balance for seniors next in the country.
Why does a chicken coop only have 2 doors?
Because if it had 4 doors, it would be a chicken sedan.
Our thanks to Rock and those kids for that joke. If you have a joke you would like to share, we want to hear from you. Record a video of yourself or your kids telling a joke and make sure they're those clean dad jokes. You can send them to jokes@farmjournal.com. If we use it, you'll get a $25 Amazon gift card.
In the Country on Ag Day is brought to you by Pivot Bio. What if you had the nitrogen you need already on seed? Pivot Bio is the first company to apply nitrogen on seed. The nitrogen you need, now on seed, from Pivot Bio. Learn more at pivotbio.com.
For farmers looking to extend their years in the fields, it's important to maintain health, good balance, and strength. Well, at the University of Tennessee, Extension is teaming up with local healthcare providers for a class called A Matter of Balance. And as Charles Denny shows us, the goal is to prevent falls and injuries for seniors.
Left foot back, feet together.
If we could be stronger, sturdier on our feet, our chances of suffering from a fall are greatly reduced. That's the intended result of A Matter of Balance. It's a class taught in Ooltewah by UT Extension in Hamilton County and local providers Blue Cross Blue Shield and Erlanger Health. 1 in 5 Tennesseans will be 65 or older by 2030, and falls are one of the main reasons for senior emergency room visits.
Matter of Balance is designed to address that fear of falling. Fear of falling actually leads folks to decrease their activities, and in a cyclical fashion that actually increases their risk for falls because they're not getting out, staying strong.
Here the group works out both seated and standing, gentle movements for better balance, and then other exercises to increase strength in their ankles and feet. A foundation built from the floor up to keep you upright. Leaders of this fall prevention coalition say they see increases in physical ability here and confidence.
Yes, and with this collaboration, we've worked virtually even and empowered people, built their confidence where they were able to learn to solve problems to prevent falls in their own neighborhoods across Tennessee and in a couple of other states.
1 in 4 adults over the age of 65 suffers a fall every year, but only about half those people ever tell their doctor. Many seniors fear that admitting to a fall could mean a loss of independence. But program leaders want these older adults to maintain an active lifestyle, and Matter of Balance can help with physical and emotional benefits. Rick Lane enjoys the social aspect of the class.
The class has been great. We've seen a community building and a lot of friendships formed.
Some 36 BCBS employees have been trained to lead these classes.
It's a class to teach our participants that you are capable of doing whatever you want. We're just here to guide them.
Anyone can be injured in a fall, but seniors are vulnerable here because you lose some of your balance as you get older. But we can improve there with added strength, and some falls might be avoided with smart preparation and a boost in belief. This is Charles Denny reporting.
All right, thanks, Charles, and that's all the time we have this morning. Sure glad you tuned in. From all of us here at AgDay, I'm Clint Griffiths. Have a great day.